Well, thank you, Mike, for joining me today. This is a part of a series where I'm just talking to some of our customers, getting some tips, tricks, advice based on their varied experiences. We've got some customers with interesting stories out there, and you were somebody that I thought had kind of an interesting background and so forth. So, thought it'd be good to kind of ask you a question or so here today. But first, wanted to see if you could maybe introduce yourself, give you a little bit of background, and then we'll jump right into our topic today.
Yeah, sounds good. So my name is Mike Halstead. I am CFO at Hanson Company. We're a commercial general contractor. I've been with the company for 12, little over 12 years. Actually interned here in college before that. So I've kind of been around the company for a long time. My experience before that is kind of untraditional, at least getting into my role. So I graduated from Iowa State with a finance management degree back in it'd be December of 2005. And then I actually went and worked in insurance for almost 5 years, Allied Nationwide downtown, and did a lot of claims handling and various things. And ended up going back to school and finished my accounting undergrad and then did public accounting for a couple of years. And then had gotten a call. The CFO the controller at the time that I interned for when I was in college was retiring and they were looking for a replacement. And I grew up around construction, so it kind of made sense. And it ultimately was kind of my goal of what I was looking for when I went back to do my accounting undergrad. So kind of all worked out.
Oh, that's interesting because, yeah, it's all the time when I talk to construction financial folks, a lot of them say, I just kind of fell into construction accounting. It was not always a goal, but like you have a little bit of that background. So that's interesting to hear your story.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you today was, in my role, I talk to lots of different types of prospective customers. And, oftentimes there's companies that are just starting out, whether they're a startup or maybe they're 2, 3 years old and so forth. They're pretty new, right? And what I found is, a lot of times, construction companies get started because somebody really loves construction. They really want to, they think they can do things a better way and so forth. And so they start their own company, just put it generically. And, a lot of companies start with QuickBooks. That's kind of pretty common to get started with. And, what I want to ask you is, as a construction CFO with your experience, what kinds of advice or tips would you have for anybody that's just starting out a construction company, from a financials perspective, whether it's reports or data or things that they should make sure that they have as they're going through the process of running a construction company and running it well?
Sure. Yeah, I guess and I'm still learning because you can't kind of experience everything right off the bat. But the biggest thing that I've found to be the biggest factor for success is being able to accurately project your costs and your profits, and kind of everything financial after that kind of falls into place if that's done well. In my role, I'm typically reviewing more of that information than producing it. So you have to have people that are working for you that are accurately able to like pull that information together and do that. But for them to do their job well, they need accurate costs, timely. They need to know what costs are through what date so they know what they're looking at. They need to be able to accurately track all of their commitments and purchase orders with subcontractors or vendors and know a lot of stuff in construction is kind of build percent complete. So it's a contract that'll be built over time, not as easy as, we bought millwork for X dollars and it's all delivered Monday. It might be spread out over a duration. And so for the project manager specifically to be able to accurately project out what costs are incurred to date and what the anticipated total is, and the net of that in your contract is your fee, is huge. I mean, it ultimately drives all of your financial statements, your annual reporting of this year versus next year, and your backlog and all those kind of things. So that's probably the biggest. From my experience, having some knowledge of construction prior to my role, I'm able to review all that stuff and I can look at an invoice and tell what phase of construction that falls into, or what I should be anticipating based on the progress of that project. And I think that's one thing that I probably take for granted just because I know a lot of the different phases of construction and the materials involved. But being able to look at all that and analyze the data and then basically confirm what your project manager is giving you is pretty valuable in putting out accurate information both during the year and at the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some great tips, great advice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening, and thanks, Mike. Appreciate you coming on here and joining me today.
No problem. Thank you.